So welcome today to this webinar. We are going to talk about automatic backend with PostgREST, Xiana, and uh, share JWT token to authenticate this backend. Okay, so let's start about talking about the agenda. We're going to talk about us, Flexiana, who is sponsoring this webinar. And well, I'm Jacobo Cordova. I'm a developer engineer at Flexiana since 3 years. And my friend Marius.
Hi, so I'm Marius. I'm a software engineer at Flexiana. I'm working on an internal project called Cicada Wallet, which is a business wallet for cryptocurrencies that should be helpful for business working with doing internal payments and so on. I've been Flexiana for 2.5 years now. So, yeah, let's continue.
Okay, and well, we will be your host in this webinar. We are going to talk about PostgREST. What is this and why use it? And what are the limitations it presents? Also, we're going to talk about Xiana, our framework. What is it and why to use it? And we prepare some example of these two tools working together. So let's start it. So what is Flexiana? Flexiana is a software house. We have we work in primarily with Clojure, but we work with also other languages, and we have now 50 people, mainly from Europe or LATAM and all around the world. We have senior only, average experience 11 years, and it is a really nice place to work. And well, let's continue with PostgREST. What is PostgREST? PostgREST is a standalone web server that turns your PostgreSQL database directly into a RESTful API. So, like developers, we facing every day or trying to create these web applications, and we face a problem. We create the database, and then we need to create, the update, the read, and the delete part. And this takes sometimes a lot of time if we create another database or another endpoint, or I mean another table or another endpoint. We need to create it again and again. And this is kind of tricky because the data is there, the table is there, and we just need to know how to create, how to update, how to delete, how to read. And this kind of repetitive work is what PostgREST is going to take it down. So the structural constraints and permissions in the database determine the API endpoints and operations. So if you know your database, you know your data, why you need to create it and this envelope about this, well, that's PostgREST is going to help. Also, Postgres is very good at time. It has a very good performance. So instead of create this CRUD around your database, you just say, Postgres, take this database that already exists and give me the endpoint. So every web request pass to Postgres, and Postgres manage it to get the values in the database. So why we use Postgres? Well, database a single source of truth. Using Postgres is an alternative to manual CRUD programming. Instead of do it by yourself, Postgres will do it for you. So with the Postgres, and the philosophy behind Postgres is the it's a single declarative source of truth, the data itself in the database. Um, so it goes with the declarative programming focus. So declarative programming is a style where you describe what you want to achieve without explicitly outlining how to do it. This is opposed to the imperative programming, where you provide detailed steps and loops to accomplish a task. So Clojure is a declarative programming language, um, and it follows this philosophy, and it's similar to Postgres in that sense. So we're going with that also. So for instance, instead of checking user permissions in every API endpoint, you can set it into your configuration for your database. So in the example we will show it later, we show how we create the database, and we create the roles there and the permissions that different roles can use. And that's it. You don't need to check every endpoint or check every um, uh, CRUD um, function to establish permissions and make complicated things to do it right. Just leave it in the hands of the database and Postgres. I don't know if until now it looks good to you, or if you are faced that question when you are programming, that, oh my God, I need to do it again, another CRUD. I need to create it one more time. And I don't know, what do you think about it? Have you faced that question on your own? Maybe not. Maybe you are not so developers. Maybe you. And I want to know, uh, please.
Yeah, I think it's like every developer and start programming, start doing code, but after some time it's become like repetitive task to create just APIs to expose your database. So it's very nice to have something like Postgres to just have it for free. So and I think it will be better that what you will do yourself, like less bug, less thing to test, and maybe faster as well. As I think it's written in Haskell, which is another functional programming language. I think they advertise it as fast. I didn't do like benchmark, but we are advertising that it's supposed to be faster than what you will be writing yourself.
Yeah, the thing is, for each table on your database, you will get this by default. I mean, you can get it right as you create another table. Immediately, you will have another CRUD instantaneously.
What about the mixed queries with multiple joins and filters and several stuff there? It is possible to automate this step, or I have to do it manually again?
Yeah,
Like
please.
I don't know, I'm not prepared about your presentation, but if I have let's say if I have a Facebook and I have a post and comments and whatever, I have to join the users filtered by the I don't know, level of the connections, and then filter out the messages, the comments for one post. So and okay, it's I would not use a relational database, but how these joins can be automated with PostgREST, if it's possible.
Yes, Marius.
You can use views, for example. Like create a view with your drawing, like you create like an abstract table, and you expose it with PostgREST.
Mm.
I think it should. I didn't test it, but
So
I read
technically,
it somewhere.
every selectable table has
Yeah,
on
I think
endpoint.
everything. And yeah, I will not say something that I didn't test, but I think for post as well, you should be like for creating things, you should be able to do that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can query the database with SQL and through PostgREST, and PostgREST will optimize the query to perform efficiently. You just join and make it this query stage SQL statement, and that will work perfectly.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So instead of reading code to loop through or through your table and then read and then connect and then make another query, you just select invoices ID, customers name, from orders, join, and connect everything there, and it will work.
Mhm.
Um,
So,
how,
so technically, I can predefine my queries, and I can create views, and I can use them directly from PostgREST.
yeah.
How it's different than programming the query in the backend?
Yeah. I thought
Which
something similar.
leads us to the next subject, maybe, if you have to
You
do
get
that.
API for free.
Okay, true. Okay, I don't need to define the routing and whatever it's necessary there. Okay.
Yeah.
But it has limitations, as you said. It is the subject of the next slide.
No, thank you.
Perfect. Well, other thing is these views that you can define in the database allows the database person who is in charge of the database can prevent, really prevent any leak of information, because it should be in database, uh, just from database to the next step. So that's part of also the benefit of this. You don't need to go to the code. You can just modify the database and that's it. The code will adapt to that modification. And that's why PostgREST is also good. Is he concentrates his focus just in make it the database returns a good information in a good manner. And if you want to improve it, you can use another tool like Nginx, maybe, or not. It depends. It is very flexible. And we are going to talk about this also. But what are the limitations of PostgREST? Like you said, it's designed for CRUD operations and may not be the best fit for applications that require complex business logic, like, let's say, Facebook or something. And but also other limitation is while Postgres can leverage PostgreSQL role-based access control, it does not provide a built-in mechanism for more advanced authentication scenarios like OAuth or JWT, and does not support WebSockets or real-time updates out of the box. So how we can take all this advantage and overlap these limitations, how we can pass these limitations? Well, that's that's how Xiana can help. So Marius can talk a little about this Xiana, and
and Christian is here also, so he can correct me if I say something wrong. So Xiana is a web framework, and I supposedly help people to start developing Clojure, if they are coming from other frameworks, like MVC, over MVC frameworks, and it will like a fast and smooth onboarding for new users into web development using Clojure. So it has everything you would expect from a web framework, like request handling, database queries, model view, and it has a lightweight front-end part that help you to get started using Clojure script as well. And go to the next slide, please. So, as I said earlier, it has some predefined stuff that are there by default, like configuration management. It's using Yoctos config. It's from another prolific Clojure developer. And also session handling using session ID. Session ID that is can be used using header in the request or via cookies. And database connection also managed by default. You will get the connection in the state of the request. It's like a kind of a waterfall from the request. You have the configuration there, the session, the database, so you can take everything from the state inside the controller and make your magic there. And also it has support for WebSockets, so that you can, if I can find an example in the repository. And some front end, I think Gustavo made something called Xiana Blade that use some React components in Xiana. You can check that as well. And I think they made something with HTMX as well. You can check in the Flexiana organization in GitHub, if you're interested in that matter. So we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so for this webinar, we decided to use an architecture that uses Nginx, which is a web server that can be used as a reverse proxy to route the traffic either to PostgREST or to Xiana. But I think it's not really required. You can use only Xiana and PostgREST and route the traffic from Xiana to request something from the PostgREST part. And next will be the demo, right?
yeah, well, last thing is about the JWT token, the golden key, because we got this database and it database get exposed with this all crude. So how we prevent not good people access our database? So we got this JWT token that in which we can get the configuration and sign this information, JSON information, to access the database. So we pass this like a bearer authentication, and it will work in our diagram. This secret key is stored in Xiana config and in the REST, in PostgREST config. So they communicate with this JWT token to sign the information it passes. So yeah, I think the demo is right now. The thing is next. So far, questions or some someone wants to ask something previous to the demo. It's pretty clear until now, right? Okay. Let's show then this. Okay, we have this repo who will be available after the webinar. This is an example of how to combine in some ways Xiana and PostgREST. And the setup involves create a database. And in this case, I will show in a few minutes this Docker file. And yeah, we create the database with all these values, and then we also install Xiana, a Xiana app, web app, and we can run it with lane run. Xiana is a Clojure framework who creates web applications easily and with a lot of functionalities. And you don't need to know too much Clojure to start with this. But if you know Clojure, you will know this. There is two ways, or at least two ways, to create a web application. One could be with Lane Engine, or we can be with depths. Xiana support both. You can create a web application with depths or with Lane Engine. In this case, we created with Lane. So let me show the VS Code running here. Let me change the sharing. Okay, where is? Yeah, here. Okay, let's see. Perfect. So this is the project. Now I'm going to lane run. Let me. This is lane run. Should run the Xiana, the web application created in Xiana. Perfect. So this web application, it's, if we go into the configuration of this file, we can see is the web server is and the port 3000. So in this port, we will receive every call to Xiana. And we can go to our web browser and test it, like 3000. Let's see. Can go to reframe. Yeah. Okay.
We don't see your browser.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. I'm going to show my browser now. Thank you. I will show my entire screen. I think it's better now because. So if you see here, I got localhost 3000, and we can go at different endpoints according to see, this is the source, this is the core, and in the core we got the routes. So you see we have this route, this login route, and this reframe route. This reframe route can be used to create a reframe application. In this case, we don't going with that. And we go just with the basic one, who create this invoice tracking system. In this case, this by default, just take a document in index.html. So we can use a basic HTML file. I'm working with JavaScript, and Xiana allows making these kind of things. But it is like the small thing it can do. It can do a lot of more things. So just for the scope of this tutorial and show how it works. But we are using Nginx, sorry. Now it's not ready because I didn't turn on. So let's turn on to see what happens if I go to localhost port 80. So just localhost. I run the configuration present in this file and nginx config, and you see this take the upstream to PostgREST in localhost 8000 and upstream from Xiana, and listen the port 80 and reverse or redirect according to the location. So if we go into PGR, it go to PostgREST, and if we go on to API, it go to Xiana. And let's see what happened now. Okay, so localhost is saying not found because it's trying to access. Let's see, API. Now it access Xiana. As you see, we don't need to put the 3000 port. It is redirected by Nginx. But if I go to PGR or PostgREST, and it says it's not right because I didn't start PostgREST. So how we start PostgREST? And we got this configuration in which we put the JWT secret and the database credentials, and we just run it here. We can run with this command postgres.conf, and it started, and you see you can access it, and it gives you the information of the database in a Swagger manner, and you can also go in with endpoints. So let me show you. I didn't show you the database schema, what we did. Yeah, this init file. Let me clean a little. And we create the database and the table users, the table invoices, and the table invoice state status changes. And we create different roles like anon, web user, or admin, and grant different permissions to each one of these. We put some nice function here to update only their own invoices. And we also can do this through Xiana. We can put this file into a migration folder. So we can roll back if we can change something in the database, because migrations are in pairs. So you can put that here, and with the command make migrate, it will update the database. And if you don't like you can revert it. For this webinar, we didn't take that way. We just created first, and we continue with that. Okay, so for instance, you can access PGR users, and you could access, but now we prevent it because we grant some permissions. So the get for users is not getting nothing because you don't have permissions for that table. But if we don't put just the permissions and we can go with this, we get the values of the table users or the table's invoices. In this case, of course, you don't need to do all the secure thing. It's just given by PostgREST, just with this usage roles permissions given here. So what else? Okay, so let's see this index file. API. Okay, so let's see this index file, how it works now. So if we put here the username and password right now, for to take it in a different way, we can now get for usernames a password that can be hashed in a different way, and you don't need to manage the token. That can be managed internally by Xiana and the controller for that endpoint. So we have the endpoint and to handle the login, and this handle login will receive the parameters, the username, the password, and create the token based on that information. You assoc that and in the response, and in the file who manage that response, you can return that. Let's see, where is? Yeah, you return that token, and you can storage in local storage in your browser. So in that way, if, for instance, I try to fetch invoices here, okay, one moment. It is because it is because I get in memory because some token. So let me delete this token. And if I try to fetch some invoice, I didn't receive anything because I have not logged in. But if I log in like admin, admin1, and put my password, I receive the token, and the token can be stored in local storage, for instance, and then you can fetch invoices and you can create a new one. And this and how it works here is because Xiana is calling that endpoint. The invoice is created, and you can fetch it again. So Xiana communicates with that endpoint. You can see here, it's just a post method to the API login. And then this login will retrieve the token, and then every function you get the item token from your local storage, and you put it in the authorization bearer. So that is how it works. And yeah, basically, I don't know if you have another question.
Yes, I am. Where the token coming from? It's generated by the PostgREST or by Xiana?
The token come from Xiana. I mean, Xiana receive that password and username and sign it with the secret key is shared between PostgREST and Xiana. So you need to give into the PostgREST configuration the secret key, and also Xiana, when it goes to create the token. Well, right now we created with this script on Ruby, and we use this secret, but we know it can be done by Xiana also, or many libraries can sign the JWT token. So that's
so only the secret key is the connection between the two services. So
yes,
Xiana creates it, but you can send it to PostgREST to use it.
exactly. If you malform it, it doesn't work, of course. But it's just a signed token. Okay.
The Postgres has some session handling. Is it to know anything about the user behavior, or everything is just done by the JWT token?
Yeah, everything is done by the JWT token, and it's by itself. Postgres don't make any sessions, but well, Xiana does by default.
Yeah.
So you can use the session like Xiana used, like it creates the table, and you can track the sessions. AW token got what's the word? Some expiration date, so that's something that can be used.
I had one more, but I forgot.
It's okay.
Oh yeah, fetching the invoices. It happens through Xiana, or it's directly from PostgREST in this case?
No. In this case, we are we got this index file, right? Where is the index file? Yeah, this index file. And when we fetch invoices, we do it calling this endpoint. So this endpoint is open, like we can see here. It's localhost pgr and invoices. Yeah, invoices. This is it's just this, but without the token, it shouldn't give you nothing. If you have the token, then you get, and you can modify it, the response, you can modify it as you want by Xiana.
Yeah, but it happens on front end side, so the routing between Xiana and Postgres is happens on the front end.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But it could be, of course, be managed by the interceptors chain in Xiana, because you just need to call this endpoint, and you can do it with different tools. Yeah, it's very flexible. You just need.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, let's continue then. I don't know if you have any other question. So let me share. Yeah. Okay. So that was the demo. we set up this database and run the Xiana app and run the PostgREST configuration, open it, these endpoints, this port, and running Nginx to redirect this. But like we said, we can do it in a different way. And what else? Okay, that was our demo. So if you have any questions, we can continue with the demo, or please follow us in our social media. I don't know if someone else wants to say anything else. Marius.
Thank you for your attention. And as we said earlier, we'll be sharing the demo later. We just have to polish it a bit. We did some last minute edit like the Ruby script because Xiana use a public private key system to do the JWT token. So we need to update that, I guess, to make it work with secret key. And yeah, after that we can release the demo. If there is a question, is there a public repo? But not yet, but there will be.
Yeah, but soon we should release it, and it should be like this one. And when we share it in YouTube, it will. Oh, okay. We will put that also there. And what do you think? It will work for you? You will try it?
I would like to see more situations where we will use PostgREST with Xiana, definitely.
Yes, I think Christian made some good suggestions there, like to create. We should try to use like joins and so on using Postgres, like do more complicated things. Yes, Eduardo.
Hey, so I just wanted to ask something. So I really love the presentation, but I have a doubt. So one of my favorite features on PostgreSQL is row-level security, because it really saves me a lot of time on the back end doing checks that you don't need to do. So have you considered using it on PostgREST or PostgreSQL part of the setup, or you are handling it in another way because there are cons?
You mean the security part?
So when PostgreSQL allows you out of the box to configure authentication and authorization using a feature called row-level security. That I believe that you can use it also in PostgREST in a declarative way. Have you considered it?
Yeah, it is. It works well also with PostgREST. Indeed, here, but if you can create different policies, even row-level security, and it works pretty well. Yeah, indeed, we got it. Let me show you. It is present here. Present something here. Entire screen. We got this. We can enable row-level security, and it works pretty well with PostgREST also.
Cool.
So if you pass some query, it will take that in consideration without you need to do more than pass the information.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
So you mentioned Xiana can interact with the database at least on migration level. Does it means you have to start a Postgres database server, then you should connect with the PostgREST, so I don't know, PostgREST stuff server to it, or how it is, how it happens in order. First, you have to start the PostgREST web server, then connect the Xiana to the SQL instance, or how it is working.
Yes, if you want to use PostgREST, you should get PostgREST running, because the database could exist without PostgREST. And if you want to use these features, you need to run PostgREST. And then if Xiana want to use these features in PostgREST, should use that endpoint, that PostgREST, that port that in which Postgres is opening this endpoint. That's your question, or it is not complete answer?
So technically, I can connect to the database directly from Xiana and do the migrations and other, for instance, I don't know, complex queries, which is just a CRUD.
If you want to do your own CRUD and connect your database by Xiana, you can do that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
It's pretty nice. Well, I think that's it for today. I want to thank you, everyone, to join us, and expect to see you in the next webinar.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.